Dragons. Such majestic animals. Legendary, fearsome, but unfortunately fictional. Sadly, they don't exist. Or do they? I'm just kidding, they don't exist. But from a biological standpoint, how would a dragon even operate? How would they even come into existence? In 2004, Animal Planet tried to answer that and many other questions like that with Dragons: A Fantasy Made Real, or Dragon's World, or The Last Dragon. Depending on where you live, you might have gotten a different title. God, Animal Planet back then had everything I could have wished for as a kid. I was content. Emphasis on was. Dragons: A Fantasy Made Real, or whatever title you might have gotten, tries to explain how a dragon could operate biologically and how the many different dragon depictions in myth and folklore could fit in one single evolutionary tree, the dragon genus. Dragons: A Fantasy Made Real was shot like a traditional narrative, like a movie, and it alternates between that and a more traditional documentary style of filming when showing the animals. It was nominated to Outstanding Visual Effects in a Broadcast Miniseries, Movie or Special, a Primetime Emmy Award nomination for Outstanding Animated Program, and another Primetime Emmy Award nomination for Outstanding Special Visual Effects. Not too shabby. I guess it didn't fly under the radar. As in, dragons.
Dragons: A Fantasy Made Real. Sunday, March 20th. Only on Animal Planet. Go to dragonsarecoming.com.
We begin with a flashback to the Cretaceous period, where we meet this female T-Rex going for a hunt. She comes across this baby proto-dragon. Proto-dragons are the first true dragons in the dragon genus. Suffice to say that this baby proto-dragon is complete toast, until Mama Dragon arrives and clutches the fight, toasting the T-Rex instead. I guess we could say that T-Rex is cooked. Fast forward to modern day, where we are introduced to our protagonist and whose story we're gonna be following.
Dr. Jack Tanner, paleontologist, an overnight celebrity.
He works as a researcher in the London Museum of Natural Sciences, but he's not really that respected in the field, mainly because he believes dragons exist. That's a pretty okay reason if you ask me, but He sees a few dark spots on a T-Rex skull and immediately jumps to the conclusion that only a dragon could have done this.
These are scorch marks. Precise. Aimed.
Perhaps my childhood obsession had clouded my thinking.
He tries to prove his theory to the other paleontologists, but they all just look at him as if he ripped a wet one. But is this that unreasonable? I mean, it's the Cretaceous period. There is no shortage of things with sharp claws that could have left a mark on this T-Rex skull. And during the Cretaceous period, there was plenty of things that could have left burn marks as well. I can name at least one big one. But wait, Tanner might actually be in luck, cause he just got the opportunity of a lifetime.
Last week, guess what? Out of nowhere, the Dragon Man is thrown a lifeline, another find.
The Dragon Man. How can you not love this guy? He gets an invitation to study a preserved body in Romania, with high suspicion that this new body might be a real dragon. A real one.
Now the museum, they're ready to pass. They have an international reputation to maintain. I get to hear about it and figure I'm the perfect solution. The man with no reputation to lose. So here I am, with two of the museum's rising stars, who see me as a bad career move.
Together with two very judgmental assistants, Dr. Jack Tanner starts autopsying the body. And immediately, Dr. Tanner is puzzled. This animal has developed wings, it has a powerful heart, it even has hollow bones. Telltale signs of powered flight. Yet, due to its proportions, it is still too heavy to take off. But look at the computer, it says no flight. Computers never lie. According to all laws of aviation, a dragon should not be able to fly. But after getting his hands dirty, the Dragon Man finds 2 air sacs filled with hydrogen and methane, and hypothesizes that these must be the dragon's flight bladders, similar to the ones birds have. During digestion, dragons would produce hydrogen and methane that would be stored in these air sacs. Then, by emptying their stomach, either by finish digesting or by vomiting, this would make them light enough to take off. I guess that's a pretty fly explanation. But hold on, there's more to a dragon than just the ability to fly. Tanner goes deep into the lion's mouth, or should I say, the dragon's mouth, and finds out that this mouth is not only very heavily armored, but also has a false palate, similar to the ones crocodiles utilize to better hunt underwater.
It's an adaptation. Maybe it wasn't used to prevent water flooding the lungs. Maybe it's to prevent a backdraft of fire from burning the throat. Boy, when you say it out loud, does it sound lame?
I mean, Tanner is clearly one of those dweebs that has an internal monologue saying to himself what he wants to say out loud but is too scared to. It hurts when it hits close to home, doesn't it? But he talks about dragons with such dramatic flair. I love it.
We need a light, combustible material.
Like gas?
Now, what did you say was in these things? Hydrogen and methane?
Whatever you say, boss, please don't hurt me.
It's hydrogen and methane! Both combustible gases, both lighter than air.
The fly bladders, as it turns out, are not just fly bladders, but they also double up as fuel tanks.
Evolution at its most economical.
But still, a question remains. How could the dragons ignite those gases? Well, much like a mountain goat, dragons crave that mineral. And by storing sediment of platinum-rich rocks on their back molars, they were capable of creating a spark that would ignite the gases and create a burst of flame. A fire explanation to this conundrum, isn't it? This might look far-fetched, but the documentary brings attention to the bombardier beetle, a very much real animal we have on Earth. The bombardier beetle is a small beetle that, when threatened, is able to shoot out a liquid at 200 degrees Fahrenheit or close to 100 degrees Celsius, very close to boiling point. Compared to this, are dragons that far-fetched? I will let you be the judge. So, we established that this dragon lived side by side with humans, but we also know that dragons existed as far back as the Cretaceous period. So this raises one question. How did dragons survive the KT event? The false palates, similar to the ones crocodiles have, together with upwards facing nostrils, proves to us that dragons must have been aquatic at some point. This serves as a way to justify their survival to the KT event, as well as an origin to the sea serpent myth. Later these evolve, giving origin to many subspecies of dragons. Over in Asia, we got the forest dragon, giving origin to the Chinese depiction of dragons, keeping the serpentine body as well as vestigial wings, similar to the vestigial legs found in snakes and whales. Over in Europe, we got the mountain dragon, giving origin to the European dragon of myth, and also a desert dragon. But they don't really talk about this one. I mean, it's there on the tree, but they never mention it or show it. In this segment in the documentary, we are treated to a fight between a tiger and a forest dragon, completely composed of exclusively stock footage. That is awesome. And hold on, this part is actually quite funny, because it's only halfway into the documentary that Dr. Tanner realizes that the body he has been studying for a couple hours at this point has in fact 6 limbs, because the wings were covering the front legs. Well, of course, if I don't see them, how the hell do I know they exist? It's not like I took a bunch of x-rays. All jokes aside, this is actually kinda cool, the fact that they bring attention to the fact that most dragon depictions in myth and folklore depict dragons with 6 limbs, even though there's no vertebrate on land with more than 4 limbs. They justify this with a simple mutation to the gene that is responsible for generating limbs.
Oh my. Now that's some freaky mutation.
I mean, it's a very vague explanation, but at the same time is technically a plausible one, and makes you think. It leaves space for speculation, because we established that in the Cretaceous period, with the proto-dragon, they had only 4 limbs. And somewhere in history, there was this mutation that allowed dragons to develop an extra set of limbs. The simple fact that they address this is very cool on itself, and is technically possible, so I'll pass it with a thumbs up.
These drawings aren't wild imagination. They're records. These primitive people were telling us something, and we weren't listening.
Tanner assumes that the mythical depictions of dragons in folklore are actually historical records of real encounters with real dragons. And with this, he assumes that besides the mountain dragon, the forest dragon, and the desert dragon, many other subspecies of dragons could have existed at some point.
Okay, we've got evidence for a marine dragon, the sea serpent of legend. A forest dragon that lived in Asia.
So, where are they now? Driven by this question, Tanner tries to figure out the cause of death of this particular dragon. Lodged very deep into the dragon's heart, he finds the tip of a sword, giving us the definitive cause of death. Men. Should have picked the bear. From here, Tanner recreates the story of this particular dragon, where a group of knights goes deep into the mountains to face off the mountain demon, as they call it.
A final clash between man and beast, in which none shall triumph.
And it is hypothesized that this dragon we have been studying through the documentary is actually the last dragon. With the discovery of the dragon, Dr. Tanner gets his reputation back. He gets another assignment, and there he goes into the sunset. Godspeed, Dr. Jack Tanner. The people working on this documentary worked very closely with biologists, paleontologists, as well as animators and VFX artists to bring this animal to life in a convincing way. However, it never really tries to deceive the audience. I mean, it's right there in the title. A fantasy made real. They're not really trying to convince you that at some point in time dragons were real. It's just edutainment. They're trying to create this speculative take on how dragons could have evolved. All of this said, nothing stopped 4-year-old me from blindly believing this. Because, hello, this is not Jack Tanner, this is Dr. Jack Tanner, and look at the dragon, it's right there on the TV. The dragon is right there. It's real. It's real. Me goes back to school. Guys, I found something crazy. Dragons exist. And then they bullied me. Dragons is a wild piece of content, imaginative as hell, and it has been living rent-free in my brain for years. Easily one of the coolest things Animal Planet or literally any nature channel has ever cooked up. It's one of those documentaries that leaves you wondering, what if? Imagine you're just vibing in the woods, as you do, and you stumble across something that was supposed to be just a myth. I mean, nature doesn't exactly ask for our permission before doing weird stuff. The world is full of those. It's not limited by our lack of imagination. But hey, I guess we will never know.